shot on a Pixel.
I'm shooting this on a Pixel 2 XL. We've been Android/Pixel/ Nexus users for me, past 10 years.
For me, since the Nexus 5.
And right now, we're gonna try out the iPhone.
I'm scared.
Yeah, so I'll get the iPhone Pro, and you'll get the 11. Let's see how it is, right? I feel like I'm gonna miss native apps.
I'm gonna miss native apps, but I'm also gonna miss Google Photos, my app notification drawer.
Okay, we'll see how that Siri life is.
And I don't like the way navigations look on the lock screen on that.
Oh, we're gonna have to see. So here's the thing is, we have iPads, so we know how to use iPads.
Yeah,
we have
so
Mac, everything.
With iOS, yeah.
Yeah. So the only thing I don't have this Apple product is the phone. And people always ask me like, how come you use Android? I'm like,
up until now they were the better phone.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
So Pixel 4 I felt was a slap in the face. I seriously, I didn't like where.
Words.
Well, here's the thing. They keep adding stuff that I never asked for, never thought I'd want. No, I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And so the Pixel 3 XL with that notch, that was already like, oh my god.
The iPhone has a notch.
Yeah, but that was a horrific one. What's up, Mom? Hey, so before you used to have a iPhone, right? And then I got you on the Pixel 2 XL, and now you have Pixel 3a.
That's right.
How do you like your Google phones?
I love it.
You love it. All right, there you go. There you go. See, we're not fanboys. We're open to everything.
That's right. Hey Gracie, do you like your iPad?
Do you want an Android tablet instead? I bought many things from this place. Here you go.
Can I just comment on how smooth my Pixel video is?
Kind of cute.
A little too MKBHD for me. I kind of like it. Maybe yellow, huh? I kind of like yellow. I think I might play it safe and do white because I'm not the biggest fan of the gold.
Same size screen but a smaller phone. I don't mind a smaller phone. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think I like the Max as much. It just doesn't feel as good in my hand.
Whoa, the stroller. Be cooler if this focused. There you go.
Are you charging right there?
Yes, I am charging my phone.
Well, we have our phones are old.
I mean,
2 years.
Yeah. For the cost, all of it is in perspective because you might think, oh, how much was ours? $699.
Mine was like, yeah, $800,
About
$999.
$799, right?
Yeah.
And like we expect a lot out of them, which we should because they're expensive. But we use them day in and day out for 2 years.
Yeah.
Considering how often and what types of things we're doing with it.
Yeah, it's not bad.
I feel like at this point it's just for
iMac.
it's just for like ease. You know, 'cause everyone has an iPhone. You gotta join the team.
Well, people are always wondering like, hey, how come you have all these Apple products but you don't use an iPhone?
Right.
And it's always because back when this came out, like this had better cameras.
Well, it still kind of does.
Yeah. So, but I don't know. We'll see right now.
Try it out.
I think
see if you like it.
I think they might have caught up, but we'll see.
Total for both of these phones. Drum roll.
All right.
1872.05.
Oh, that's nothing. Thanks, YouTube. Just kidding. What have you done?
What have you done? Okay, we'll see how it goes.
Let's see.
Always fun to go home with a new purchase.
Wow, this feels like
Expensive.
feels like a mistake. No, just kidding. Hopefully it's good. We'll see. It's always good to try some new stuff. Do you think you're gonna like it?
I don't know. Yes.
Are you hoping that you're gonna like it?
I don't know. I don't know if I want to.
I'm going in with an open mind.
I don't know if I want to.
So I think there's gonna be pros and cons.
Yeah, there
I
always
think
is.
there's gonna be things that I'm gonna miss. I don't know how important those things that I'm gonna miss are until I have to actually miss them. What is that line? If you love something, let it go. And if
it comes back, it's yours. I don't think that's the correct
No? Okay.
application.
I'm gonna find your I have an iPhone 4 video.
Do I have a video?
I have a video.
Mom Bear just got iPhone 4.
Yep.
I look like a different person when you look at it this way.
That's a better form factor than that giant thing that you had before. Droid X. What was your last iPhone?
5.
iPhone 5. That's a long time. My last one was the iPhone 3GS. And I ended up going back to a BlackBerry at that time. So
Oh, Blackberries were great.
yeah. Oh, so I'm using the Move from Android app. I don't know, it's like connected direct Wi-Fi. And so it's saying it's going to take like 22 minutes, 12 minutes, 11 minutes, 13 minutes, 18 minutes. So that's just transferring my contacts. I have a ton of contacts. When I switched over your iPhone to Android, it was easier because it was a cable and it did it like super fast.
That was pretty painless.
Ah, 24p.
And then what format? High efficiency or most compatible?
I don't know. Officially day 1 or day 2?
Day 1.
Okay, day
I
1.
didn't really have enough time with it yesterday.
Alright.
So it's morning of day 1.
Alright.
It's refreshing to have a new operating system. But there's still a lot of things to get used to.
Okay.
So I'm not 100% sure which one I like better yet.
It's my first day using it. And I used it last night, used it with Google Maps, navigation, and I will say that I'm just clumsy with this. So it's not a knock on the phone itself. Where's the camera on this thing?
In the center.
Oh, there it is. I see. But so far, I mean, it's smooth. Everything looks pretty good.
Good job,
Picture quality, I'm gonna have to look at it on the computer. It looks good on the phone. But yeah, so far so good. I think built-in editing on the iPhone is better. Other thing is not a problem necessarily with iPhone, but the Google Photos app just doesn't update as fast. Like when I open it, I know that there's new photos on there and it's just not there yet. Whereas on a Pixel, you open it up, all the newest photos are just like, it's automatically updating in the background. So I was watching an HDR video right now just to test out to see how the screen looked. And I was just pretty surprised by the spatial audio. It sounded like it was like going around my head. And I know the Pixel phones are known for their front-facing speakers and having good audio, but that sounded pretty crazy. So I was surprised. Back when Android was still new, it was very easy for me to say that iOS was much more polished, much more fluid, easier to use, more thought out. But now with Android 10, which I'm using on the Pixel 2 XL, I can't easily say that it's much better. I mean, in some ways, Android is easier. So another thing I noticed is notifications on Android. You can just swipe them away. On here, you have to swipe and then press clear. Just an extra step, but when you're swiping away a bunch of notifications, I prefer the way Android does it to this. All right, so testing, vlogging from the wide camera here. And so, how stable does it look if I walk like this? Too wobbly? Ooh. All right, so a few things that I found that are pretty upsetting to me right now. So the first thing is I've been trying to download a video from Google Photos, but it just won't download. It says trouble saving to the camera roll. I did some research and other people are having the same issue, but that's kind of annoying to me, right? Very frustrating. I've been trying to work on this for the past hour, just trying to download a simple video, and it just won't do it. I mean, I can download it to my MacBook, no problem, from Google Photos. And the reason I actually wanted to download it is because I've noticed that when I played back a video on Google Photos on the iPhone, it wasn't at the highest resolution. I'd record something at 4K, and when I'd play it back on Google Photos, it just would look like maybe 720, versus when I played it back on my Pixel 2 XL, it looked sharp, clean. So that's number one. Number two is I have a Samsung Gear S3 watch. I like it because it's a round face. I don't like a square watch face. That's just me. I was surprised to find out that it did work with iPhone. So that was cool. Set it up. Everything worked except for Samsung Pay, which is probably the best thing about it. It can work in places that aren't even made for Google Pay or Apple Pay. It doesn't have to say any of that. Pretty much anything where you can swipe a credit card, it has, I think it's called MST, where it's able to emulate that actual magnetic stripe. And so they've just went and disabled that. That's an Apple thing. I'm sure they would say it's because of security, but I'm going to go ahead and say That's pretty shitty. I mean shady. That might be a deal breaker. I really don't like that. And just one more thing to add to this rant is that I've never opened Apple Music. I've mainly used YouTube Music. I've been playing it. That's what I was playing in the car. I had this hooked up with Bluetooth. And then the next time I started up the car, it started playing some random song. Like, what is that song? Right? And it turns out it was playing something from Apple Music. So I get it. You want me to use Apple Music. I don't want to use Apple Music. Is this not my phone? This phone belongs to me. I should be able to choose what I can, what music service I want to use, what app I want to use. This is the type of Apple stuff that irritates me. I don't like this, Apple. I love your hardware. I love almost everything you do, but this sort of stuff, I'm pretty sure if I use an Android device, Google also wants me to use their services. They want me to use YouTube Music. They want me to use YouTube. Yes, but I do have options. Like, I have the option to allow it to play Spotify as a default player if I wanted to, right? I can play from Pandora if I want. And so these are the things that I like about Google is they don't try to restrict you. They don't try to hold you down and make you use their stuff. And Apple tries to do this thing where it's it's everybody else's fault, right? So earlier I tried to use Siri to play something off of YouTube, right? Hey, play this song on YouTube, right? And it said, well, the wording was such that it made it sound like YouTube doesn't allow integration with Siri. And I was like, really? I find that kind of odd, right? I'm pretty sure that doesn't seem like a Google move, right? Google's pretty open. They want you to use all their stuff, right? The more of their stuff that you use, the better for them. I tried using Apple Maps, and I can see why people use Waze or Google Maps, because basically it tried to route me in some weird way where I could have just made one simple turn to try to make me do all these other things. So I'm glad I didn't listen.
I can see why people get lost.
I'm wondering if Siri would allow me to use Google Maps as my default.
I'm looking it up.
I totally doubt it.
I'm looking it up.
It just won't?
No.
So if I delete it, it'll just tell me
That I don't know.
Okay, so I just tried uninstalling Apple Maps and I tried to use Siri to navigate, and of course it said, there's no app there. Even though you have Google Maps, so we don't know what that is. So, of course, as I expected, Apple, stop being so scared of other people using different apps, all right? If your app is better, then we'll use it. If it sucks and it's not as good, then we'd rather use something else. I was kind of curious to see if a GoPro would be good for the wide and for vlogging instead of using the phone, because I'd prefer to use the wide angle on the iPhone, but it looks kind of weird because like the screen's facing everybody else who's watching you vlog. At least with this one, it's a smaller screen and still that wide angle of view. This is the GoPro Hero 7 Black. If I like it, I'm gonna get the GoPro Hero 8 Black. The main thing I didn't like about the Pixel 4, the thing that upset me, one of the things, was that it didn't have the ultra wide and it didn't have 24p. This is ultra wide and it does have 24p. I wouldn't mind just carrying this around. All right, so if I play this from the Pixel 2 XL and I cast this shield, it works. And the audio's coming from the sound system over there. Do the same thing here and cast this to the shield, and the audio's playing from the iPhone, the video's playing from the TV. What is that? It's one of those things, like, who do you blame? Do you blame Google or do you blame Apple? The track record for Apple just doesn't look good. I see you got a case.
Yes.
Why is that?
To protect it.
So does that mean you're committed?
Kind of. It's faster than my phone.
Remy, what happened, girl? What happened? There is a call screening feature on the Pixel that I really like, because there's a ton of spam calls that come through and I'm able to just kind of screen them without even answering them. Yeah, I know, right? And on the iPhone, obviously that's not available. Going from my Pixel 2 XL to this, yes, this is faster, smoother, the video quality is better. I would say in some cases the photo quality is better, but in many other scenarios, I feel like I'm not upgrading. I'm actually feeling like I'm downgrading when it comes to the assistant and the maps and the integration of those services, Google Photos, and the way that it works with my whole entertainment system. And, you know, I'm using Google Home. I use a Nest. And so the way that this integrates with that, it's just not as good because, of course, they want you to use HomePod. They want you to use Apple HomeKit. I don't want to use those things. I don't think that they're better. I'm already attached to using a lot of these Google services the same way that many iPhone users wouldn't switch because they're attached to iMessage and they have iCloud. And I'm highly considering just returning this. I think my wife likes her iPhone 11, right? So she can keep that, but I wouldn't even feel bad if I just went back to my Pixel 2 XL. I'm considering maybe going to a Pixel 4, but that's also not very compelling. I don't feel like it's a huge upgrade for me. So to add to my rant a little bit, Pixel now has the same gesture navigation, the swipe up to get to the home screen. But I noticed that actually the Pixel's gesture navigation is more consistent. If you swipe from the left or right, it always takes you back. Whereas on the iPhone, it's app dependent. So sometimes I find myself trying to swipe to go back to the previous page, but if the app doesn't support it, well, it just doesn't work. Cheese. Now I am filming this on the GoPro Hero 7 in 2.7K. We have iOS devices. I have Apple devices all over the place here. So Angela has this old iMac, but still working.
10 years old.
10 years old, all right. Gracie, that's your iPad, right? That's your iPad, Remy? iPad Pro. What's in here? What is this? Is this another iPad? Oh, MacBook. Another MacBook. Old iPad. Newer iPad mini. iMac Retina that I messed up. I have no problem just using this GoPro. This is wide also. I'm also getting 4K 60 if I need it. I think the stabilization's even better on it. And I believe the mic is probably better on this too. So these format wars, right?
They hurt consumers.
They hurt consumers. I would have been fine with the iPhone had everything worked perfectly. I have to give props to Apple on one feature that I thought was really cool. So I got a call last night from my dude Chana Techno Dad. It came through on my iPad and also on my laptop. So I decided, hey, I'm gonna be on my MacBook. I picked up the call there and I was able to transfer directly from the laptop back to the phone seamlessly. Call didn't even like drop. I don't think he even noticed that I changed. And so that was a cool feature. I wish that Google did do that. I can see how that would be useful for me. I'm happy you like your phone.
I'm happy.
You already got your case for it and everything. You committed.
I know.
You're doing it. How do you like Face Unlock?
It's okay. It works well.
Do you like it better than the fingerprint?
No.
No. What do you like more about the iPhone?
It seems smoother. I mean, I'm also comparing it to a 2-year-old phone though. So
True.
it's, of course, it should have some tech upgrades.
Yeah.
I don't know. Everything just feels very polished.
Mm-hmm.
Inside and out on the hardware wise, and then, you know, software.
I agree with all that.
Yeah, and they have some cute apps that I haven't seen in Android.
And how about the camera? You've been using that at all? Because we use the Ricoh, so that Ricoh's a beast.
My Pixel camera.
What?
Yeah.
I think you just like it from the animojis and the memojis. That's all.
My kids think that's so cute, and she's a poo poo, and you know, she likes talking as a poo poo. It's these little things that I'm like, oh, that is really cute.
It is cute.
So
I get it.
They're these little,
Yeah.
it's like sprinkles.
Yeah.
You know, dessert toppings. Like,
Yeah.
oh, look, that's kind of nice, and
Yeah.
it's not a core thing that I would switch to.
Yeah.
Like we talked about, I already got some spam calls this morning. I couldn't screen them. I couldn't tell if it was already.
You got some.
If it was
calls.
Already, you know how sometimes Google knows it's already a spam call.
Yeah.
And it just doesn't even let it go through.
Mm-hmm.
I already missed those things. So. Like, those are core things that I'm kind of like.
It's like data. So here's
I
the thing
like
I've
that
noticed
stuff.
about Google stuff is like, it's cool, but it's not something you would show off to somebody else. It's just, you know, it's cool, but it's not a feature
I
that
mean,
you
you and I would, but the normal person might not.
It's hard to explain, like versus like an Animoji or Memoji. Like,
Yeah.
you just show somebody like, hey, look at this.
Oh, it winks when you wink. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
It's-
it's like this. Apple has better sprinkles,
Uh-huh.
and Google has better ice cream.
Oh, I like that one. That's why I married you. Hi there.
I have Chick-fil-A in my mouth.
I know. I always catch you while you're eating. It's like Brad Pitt. Oh. What were you saying now?
I just put a fry in my mouth. What I was saying is that it's almost 2020.
Okay.
The year 2020.
Okay.
And I can't use an MP3 file that I always have stored in my Dropbox, that I always use as my ringtone. I can't export that onto my phone and just select it as a ringtone on my iPhone. I can do it super easy on Android. I used to always do that every time I...
It's a security issue, Angela. So what do you have to do? You have to use iTunes?
Yeah, it says I have to, from what I've read, I have to connect it to iTunes on my computer, drag it into the folder, and then sync it. Hi! So that I can use it on my phone, even though this file is already on my phone. If you go into my Files app, whatever that is.
That's because you're going to break the phone if you try to get into their file system.
It's an MP3. It's cut appropriately. Let me apply it.
You're not smart enough to manage files, Angela.
Okay.
I mean, you only do it every day on their...
on OS 10.
Yeah. And on when you're making websites, you're managing files on a server, but not on your phone.
Not on your personal computer phone.
No, it's too dangerous.
Not on your personal data pad.
Do you like iPhone or Android?
Android.
Android, okay. Woo! Do you like Android or iPad?
iPad.
If I go from one app to another and I'm trying to remember something in this app so that I can type it in, or, you know, something, just multitask between two apps. When I go back to that first app, it doesn't like stay on that screen where I had left it.
Really?
It like reopens it like as if I just opened the app again.
That's weird.
Like it's brand new. And I'm like, why didn't you just stay on that screen? I didn't close the
It really does that?
app on some apps.
Okay, so to summarize my thoughts about the whole experience with the iPhone, I would say that the iPhone, I think it's a great device. I think the hardware is great. You know, if you're willing to stick with all Apple products and services, I think you're gonna have a great experience. I mean, the camera quality, the video quality on the cameras, just the way it feels in the hand, the smoothness of the entire experience, I think is great. And anybody who's just all about Apple products and has never had anything but an Apple product will still love the iPhone 11 and 11 Pro. But for me, coming from the Android ecosystem, I think it's more an ecosystem thing. They always talk about the Apple ecosystem and how it's a walled garden, everything in there is great. I think that's true if you've never tried any other products, like, you know, some of the Google stuff. Google Photos, I think, is touted as one of the best services. I mean, there's no denying that, I think. And if you've ever used it, you'll know why, as far as being able to share stuff with other people, entire albums very easily without it having to take up space for them, I think is huge. Yeah, just things like that. You know, if you look at Gmail, for example, almost everybody uses Gmail, right? I see way less people using an iCloud email or at Mac email. Gmail's native on Android. It's not an app, right? It's a native app. Partially that I'm used to Android, but it's just I'm so tied into those services. Chromecast, you know, my entire home theater is based around an NVIDIA Shield, which runs on Android. So I didn't want to have to go out and buy, you know, an Apple TV. I would have to move, you know, 15 years worth of photos over to iCloud, and that would have been a hassle. And so that's basically it. Yeah, I forgot to mention Google Assistant also. I missed that. I can't do Siri. All right, but you did. You kept it.
Okay, I have an interesting conclusion though.
All right.
I'm kind of keeping it because I like that it's new. Not that it's better. I deep down feel like my Pixel is, and the way Android handles notifications and everything like that is better.
Okay.
I like the iPhone 11 because it's new. It feels new to me. Yeah, and because the cameras are now up to par of what my Pixel used to be, so I don't feel like I'm missing out. I just like new things.
And what'd you feel about the Pixel 4 then?
I bet you if I had the Pixel 4, I would be happy with it.
Yeah?
Yeah. I'm not as hung up about what it's missing as you are. For me, it would still be that, oh, it's a new phone, it's improved from where I came from.
Yeah.
Would I think it's better than the iPhone 11? That I'm not sure, because I don't
Now that you have it?
have the two to compare.
Yeah.
But I would be happy with either.
I would say it's not.
Yeah, you've played with it.
Yeah. It doesn't have the wide angle. A lot of other reasons. I'll link to a Reddit post that I did on the Pixel phone. I think that's what the subreddit was called. And I have like 0 upvotes.
I tried to help you out there. I gave you one, so knocked it down.
Yeah. So check that out. Anyway, that's pretty much it. That's my experience. This is going back. Sorry, Apple. I tried. But we got one.
Yeah.
50%. Not bad. Just to go back and forth is kind of fun, right? Well, this is going back right now.
Not back and forth.
For me, it was more a philosophical issue that I had with Apple. Android, I feel, is very open. You know, their business model is that they want people to use their services. So, like I was saying before, I think that some of Google's services are better, and Apple actively makes it so that it doesn't work well. And for me, that's an issue. I don't like that because I feel like I own the product. It kind of reminds me of those old Microsoft days, right? Where Microsoft was willing to like let Windows be on any computer, but of course Apple said no. We're not going to allow Windows on our computers. You know, their whole thing is that they want to control the experience, and I get that. That's okay when you have the best software, the best services, and people don't mind. When you know that there are other services that are better, then you want to be able to use those. I think when it comes to Microsoft versus Apple, I have to say that I think maybe Apple won in the long term. I think the difference is that Google is willing to make the hardware, right? So Microsoft only made the software back then. Now they're making hardware. A little too late. Google makes the software and the hardware, so I think that they have a chance, but they really have to focus on the hardware. Their hardware game is kind of weak right now, but if they can get that right, I think their software is on point. Here you go, Remy. There you go.
Oh, Android fans alike.
Oh!